This is the Intelligent Human Voice Podcast Network. I'm your host, the Pat Man, from the Bay to LA and beyond. They call this one Tulum. Get back. This is the Intelligent Human Voice Podcast Network. I'm your host, the Pat Man, from the Bay to LA and beyond. It's been a while, good people. We're going to do something a little different in the next series coming forth as I'm working on quite a few podcast projects. And I want to come back to the Intelligent Human Voice Podcast Network and start talking about some things while we're creating the other podcast project. So today I want to start off by talking about it's crazy. It's a little crazy. There right now, I just feel a lot of tension in the air, online, social media, on TV, reality shows. There's just so much anger. There's just a lot of complaining, a lot of frustration, a lot of stress. And I can't tell on some platforms if it's just made up, if it's pent up. But what I'll do, and what I did, last week was that, or maybe that was this week, time is flying. I just kind of scrolled through my news feeds on Instagram and on, I think the volume might be a little too high, on Instagram and Facebook. And I just kind of addressed each and every person's question. And in answering those questions, I just gave the most simplest answer that just came right out of my head. And at the end, it was like maybe 20 questions, but I only posted like maybe 10 or 11 on my Facebook. And what came from that, it was a reflection even for myself that it's like, these platforms aren't for your complaining and it's just so bad, it's just so terrible. But I see that, it comes from loneliness. It stems from loneliness. It stems from being distracted, being unfocused on what you need to do in your life. And if you run across brothers, or whoever you run across, I know in my circle of folks, he's like, yo, what's up? You haven't seen anybody for a while. You go, yo, what's up, man? Oh, I can't complain. My response to whenever someone says can't complain is, don't nobody care, no way. Don't nobody care if you complain anyway. So, and I've said that a couple times, and people look at me like, yeah, I guess you got a good point there. I'm like, yeah, I got a good point. You can complain, but what is it going to solve, So, at the core of it all, what I want to spread to the few people who actually or it's growing. It's going to grow big time, the podcast. But there's like 483 people on my friend list on Facebook. There's about maybe a roughly 5 people who actually follow my posts, and then unless I tag people, they'll listen to my podcast, and usually it's a day later. But what I want to share is that, wellness, take care of yourself. At the core of everything else, I don't care what you're complaining about, what you're talking about. It's like, just take care of yourself. If there's some things that you feel like you need to work on emotionally, well, take 15 minutes out of your day and just focus on, what that looks like. 15 minutes out of 24 hours. If you can't dedicate 15 minutes to a meditation, to a prayer, to a blocking of silence, to block out all that stuff that you've been taking in through your optics, or taking in through your ears, or taking in just, in your soul, that means you can't do anything. But what I've learned over the course of the past 5 weeks, because I'm temporarily disabled from this accident that I was in, I'm starting to take even more time out. But scientifically, and even Abraham Hicks talked about that 15 minutes is all you need, because the rest of your time should be enjoying life. And I believe Mark Walden, a doctor, I think he's a doctor, he speaks of it the same, that scientifically it's proven that, some people have meditated for 2 and 3 hours, 5 hours and 2 minutes, 5 minutes. But what they have seen with the brain activity and when it changes when you meditate is that 15 minutes is good enough. So what I want to share with people in this 15-minute blurb of, stop complaining and take care of yourself is take care of yourself. And what that means is taking 15 minutes out of your day, just 15. Now, if you work, if you have a job, you have an 8-hour job in California, in the United States, you're given a half an hour break and you're given 2 15-minute breaks. Or you may be given an hour, but you still get 15-minute breaks. Now, on those 15-minute breaks, you know what you can do? Go meditate. I guarantee you it will change your life to take 15 minutes out of your day and on your break to envision what you want to be, what you want to do with your life, what you want to do with the rest of your life, how you want to plan out anything, a goal, something achievable goal, people. And just 15 minutes. Now, if you want to use the other 15-minute break, what I used to do is I would take naps. I would do my meditations on my 15-minute breaks. I would just go somewhere and during the time, and I'm speaking about this one time, not too long ago, I was a director of facilities at a Jewish temple. So I would go in the sanctuary and I would I had my same space all the time. No one was there. The light was out in this one section, so I'd just be sitting there in the dark, and I would tell my guys, like, yo, I'm taking my 15-minute break. If you see me and you just happen to pass, just keep moving, because I'm be in the zone for 15 minutes. I don't want to be disturbed. Another time, I was working at a law firm, and we had a deposition room, and I would go into that room. And people would know because I put the sign on the back saying, in a session. But what they knew, and they started catching on, I was like, look, there's a lot that to process in this job. You know what I mean? And I'm not an ant. I'm sure even ants rest, but I'm not an ant. I'm not a worker bee. Even bees got to rest. I'm a human being. So I got to take a break in my day for me. And if that means closing the door, turning off the lights, setting my phone alarm, putting it on my chest, or putting it nearby so I don't go past that 15 minutes, then I'm good. That's what I'm going to do. And it works for me. And I'm going to tell you what happens after those 15 minutes is it will be to each his own to experience it. But for me, changes my entire day. No matter what is going on, I'm able to be more deflective with people and their their vampire-like energy zapping. I've been more rested. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I went out the night before or whatever, and needed that 15 minutes of just shutting my eyes down, shutting my brain down, not taking in all this everyday blah blah blah. Or when you're working in a setting of people, it's a lot to take on. I'm a very empathic human being, and I tend to, when I'm working around a lot of folks, I can block energies. I can block energy zappers. I can shut down a conversation and do it in such a way that you don't even know you've been shut down. But I do it in a nice way, to say, look, I got things going on. I have a goal for the day. If you want me to schedule some time other than 2 minutes of my time right now, we can do that. But this is how it is. And this is how you take care of yourself. This is how you stop the complaining. This is how you just put an end to it all. So I challenge anyone who's listening to this podcast, whoever listens to my podcast, to take a day and then start with a day and just go from day to day to day to day and see how many times throughout the day you can go without complaining about anything. I guarantee you this will change your world. This will change your reality. Other people will start to catch on to this. Like, wow, why is this person so positive? I never hear him complaining. I never see this. And replace that complaining with something. Replace it with, happy thoughts. Even if it's not your own thoughts or quotes, pull a quote out of somewhere and just put it on your signature in your email when you're sending it off every time you respond to someone. Just change the dynamics of the now. You can't change the future. You can't change the past. You can't change, but you can change the present. And in your present, I just challenge you to cease all the complaining, all the past hoopla, anything that someone brings into your world, anything that, that's going on politically. There's nothing you could do about it anyway. So it'll be best to just shut it down and take care of yourself, because that's healthy. At the end of the day, all this complaining, it doesn't help you, doesn't help your physical being, doesn't help your cosmic consciousness. It doesn't help anyone. So find a solution by going into your day knowing that you're going to have a 15-minute break to get away from it all. And I say, look, 15-minute breaks into meditations. And at the end of the day, take 15 minutes when you get home to actually close your eyes. You may not, do a meditation. Just close your eyes from everything and just block out all the nonsense that you've taken in for the day. Because we're inundated by so much stuff via television, radio, people coming home from work talking about their day and all this stuff, and ads on the paper, and it's just crazy. It's too much. So I challenge you today in listening to this podcast to stop the complaining, because at the end of the day, complaining is complaining. That's it. And you owe it to yourself to be happy, to be good, to be all that you can be on a daily basis, because life is not life is a gift. To wake up in the morning and see the sunshine, to see you can wiggle your toes. Look at that. I can wiggle my toes. The doc's like, make sure you raise your feet, you keep your foot up, because that's going to keep it from whatever, and wiggle your toes from that. I can wiggle my toes now. 3 weeks ago, I couldn't wiggle my toes. So I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful for that. I'm not complaining. I'm moving forward. So I challenge you to do that as well. And peace, love, and soul on the next the next podcast. We're going to go 15 minutes every time. All right. Love you more, and peace.